He
Council,
is absent.
Councillor LaRochelle,
Here.
Councillor Albert,
He is also absent.
You're gonna
Councillor
excuse
Lunt.
him.
Excused.
You have to vote.
You have to vote on.
Okay.
Oh,
Both, right? Might as well for the official.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to excuse both.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
And me? You didn't call me?
oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mark Lunt.
An important guy tonight. Without him, we wouldn't be having a meeting.
That was my fault. I
We're
got
not
everybody off
excusing Mark,
track.
he's here.
I'm here.
Next item.
Good news and recognition.
Anybody?
You want to go first? I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, the football game?
Absolutely.
The Class D Lisbon football team won the Southern Championship and are going to states this Saturday. So if you can make it out there, it'll be at Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland at 2:30.
I'd like to go with that and say congratulations to LHS Drama for a successful production of Annie that they're coming off from, and congratulations to all of the recently elected officials, and thank you to all of the poll workers.
Anybody else?
I do. I'd like to introduce Brett Richardson, our new Economic Development Director.
Thanks, Diane. Just real quick, I wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to join the staff here in Lisbon, and look forward to working with you in the future to make it a vibrant community and keep the momentum going. So thanks a lot. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Next item.
We have no public hearings, audience participation and response for agenda items.
Is there anybody that would like to do our audience participation? Seeing none. Next item.
Consent agenda. Any councillor wishing to have any item removed may do so now. Seeing none, order 2019-210 to approve the following municipal accounts payable and payroll warrants. Number 191024, $194,640.53. 1910 W2, $18,240.40. Number 113 2019, $9,352.56. Number 1910 ER, $132.39. Number 1016 2019, $6,349.06. Number 1115 2019, $392.40. Number 1029 2019, $11,352.40. Number 1030 2019, $5,777.25. Number 1119 2019, $193,167.60. Number 1911 W1, $17,782.56. Number 11/6 2019, $13,125.39. And school accounts payable and payroll warrants. Number 1018, $319,273.68. Number 1019, $358,933.94. Number 1020, $12,987.39. Number 1021, $356,678.09. Number 1022, $13,247.54. Number 1023, $6,451.16. Number 1024, $66.24. Number 1025, $1,125.58. Number 1026, $327,898.61. Number 1027, $346,055.29. Number 1028, $13,099.09. Number 1029, $7,543.12. Number 1030, $66.24. Number 2007, $263,027.68. Number 2008, $59,779 $79.87. Number 11, $40.63. Number 12, $2,759.08. Number 15, $581.44. Plus minutes of October 15th, 2019. Tax collector certificate of settlement 2019 taxes. Ratify November 5th, 2019 election results. Set public hearings for the Coombs Mountford Post 158th special entertainment permit and the Slovak Catholic Association's special entertainment permit for December 3rd. Mobile home park license for Guardian Communities, LLC, the new owner of Davis Street Park. And set public hearings to hear the comments on amendments to Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 2, Finance Committee Sections 5-505 to 5-509, and Chapter 46, Article 5, Sections 46-133 and 134, Access Management for December 17th.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, one moment. Did we miss number 1152-019 and number 1911-07?
It was just a little bit different order, I think, but
I didn't hear those numbers being called at all.
The ones below,
No,
1152.
right here.
Oh, did I say those?
You did now?
yep.
Did you do these three?
I don't know.
I'll do them just in case.
Okay. For municipal accounts payable and payroll warrants, 11/13/2019, $9,352.56. Number 11/15/2019, $392.40. 11/19/2019, $193,167.60.
Ralph Byrne has a complete motion. I'll second it. You still disagree?
Yeah.
They're different from here to what was on the paper.
It's still, I didn't hear 11/52-019 for $700,286.35, nor 1911-07 for $218,252.60.
These two, right here.
Okay, do you want me to read those?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for municipal accounts payable and payroll warrants, number 11/5/2019, $700,286.35. Number 19/11/07, $218,252.60.
Okay, now I think you have a complete motion.
Can we just, for the listening public, given the way that read, make a friendly amendment on that as presented in the final agenda? Just for the listening public.
So it sounds less confusing.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Next item.
Council orders, resolutions, and ordinances. Order 2019-211, Capital Reserve Request, pipe and drape materials for Performing Arts Center.
So the school is requesting $3,835.71 out of the Capital Reserve Fund to cover the pipe and drape materials for the Performing Arts Center. Their current balance is $13,823. This one in front of the Facilities Committee. I was there. I believe Dawn was there as well, and we support that. And it also was approved by the school committee on October 16th, 2019. So now they would like the council's blessing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. All in favor? Next item.
Oops. Order 2019-212, December 24th, noon closure.
We'd like to close at noon, the day before Christmas. We've polled all the employees, and they would have to use accrued time to close early to make up the difference in their day. And they're all on board with that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
4-0 passed.
Next item.
Order 2019-213, road name request, Gina's Way.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Make the motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
4-0 passed.
Next item.
Order 2019-214, award for Graziano Square excavation bid project.
Somebody has it in front of them. You've just made the motion, read it.
Okay. I make a motion that the council rescind the proposal to enter into a contract with LP Poirier and Son, Inc., excavation for excavation drainage walkway and retaining wall at Graziano Park.
For the listening public, I make the second that for discussion. We asked about this at the last meeting, and if we did not have any resolution on that from Poirier, that this is the directive we gave the town manager.
All in favor?
4-0 passed.
Okay. I make a motion that the council accept the town manager's recommendation to waive competitive bidding for the work on Graziano Park due to time factors and the quality, expertise, and value of a proposal from St. Laurent and Sons, and to award the contract for excavation, drainage, walkway, and retaining wall at Graziano Park to St. Laurent and Sons in the amount of $24,800.
I'll make the motion for discussion.
I'd second that for discussion.
Okay.
There's a good opportunity. Hopefully the weather can hold off if we can actually get it moving. This is a reputable contractor that's done a lot of work in town, actually worked on a lot of our walking trails and some other items, so we're actually quite familiar with the performance and the idea of the competitive bid part of it. I think we can rest assured that it's actually lower than the bid we approved the first time, so
It meets the
it meets the
meets the expectation for me for competitive bid because it is lower than the original, and you're saving on mobilization because you already have him in town.
Correct.
Anybody else? No? All in favor?
4-0 passed.
Next item.
Order 2019-215, Warumbo Mill Site asbestos removal.
Make the motion.
I'll make it for discussion. We'll keep
I'll
moving.
second it for discussion, if you don't mind.
Dennis is here to answer any questions on that.
Why don't you just give us an overview first, Mr. Mann, and maybe you'll answer some of mine.
So, I'm not sure if you have the report from Atlantic Environmental in front of you, but essentially Atlantic Environmental contract just came out. His name is Jim J. Bush, owns the company. They actually had all the past experience and the reports for the previous buildings prior to the fire, and actually have quite a database on the Warumbo property itself. So I took liberty to give them a call and have them meet me down at the site because I had kind of an idea that might work from a cost standpoint better for the town on that site. So he met me out there, and the idea is we take the debris piles that are piled up at the back portion of where it's fenced in, where the hazard areas are, or possible hazard areas of asbestos. Instead of hauling that off, extreme amount of weight and very costly to do, is why can't we degrade that and bury it on site? So I went over my plan with him. He met me there. We looked it over. He agreed that was probably the best thing that we could do with that material. He went back to DEP, met with DEP, and also they went upstairs and met with the Brownfields division, and both DEP and Brownfields division signed off on it and thought that was acceptable to do. So it actually can save the town a tremendous amount of money from hauling all that material away. I probably don't want to get into too many details, but there's plenty of elevation difference there to lose this material and virtually never even know that it was there. So that's the idea behind it. So he worked up an estimate because there is a report of possible asbestos. Really don't know if there is or isn't. It's pretty much impossible until you start digging through piles. So what he would do is he would come into the town office and train the Public Works employees, a 2-hour training right here in the council chambers, what's called asbestos awareness. Once they have asbestos awareness training, we could actually have Public Works do the work down there. And then they have a field rep on site that's there in case they do uncover any large amounts of asbestos. It can be removed right there, taken away, and they can continue on. So it is something that we could actually do in-house if that's the direction the council wants to go, with some simple training, a couple hours. So he did put a proposal together which had a design and notification to the state. So regardless of what we do, we have to send in an asbestos form and notification. He'll handle that paperwork and notify the state for $800. And he will provide a supervisor on site for a daily rate of $496. And that's if we want somebody on site from their company watching to see if any asbestos is uncovered, and then they could deal with it right then on the spot. Another option we can talk about down the road is with my training, I could also probably do that as well. It's just a matter of time and when that works. So So with that said, that's $496 a day, and then disposal of any asbestos found would be $135 a yard. Again, it's unknown, but the idea is to not to disturb as little as possible and to grade it and get it down below grade to where it's safe, cover it over, and be done with it. So that's what you have in front of you, his proposal on that. If you have any questions, I can, oh, well, we can get into some more details if you want. Again, I don't want to get into who's doing what on that project or designing the project at this point, but if we're just looking to clean it up, then Public Works already have the permit by rule from DEP for cleaning the tree line. They could go in and chip along the waterfront and make a dramatic impact just there of cleaning that area up. We already have the permit in place from DEP to do that. There is a large amount of wood debris. People that go out there thought it was burned debris from the mill. Apparently, it's actually from an old dam that was there way, way, way back. So these timbers were actually pulled out of the river and stacked up, and they are going to allow us to burn all that material on site. So we could actually be working on a burn pile while we're cleaning up the site and not have to haul any of that material away. So fire department will be involved in that. I think Diane might have talked to Nate about burning to see if that was an option, and he was on board with it from a local standpoint. Outside of that, my guess is we would have to bring in a little bit of equipment that we don't have if Public Works is handling the job, just to make it easy. It has to be an enclosed cab, which I think the loader does, but they would probably have to bring in a larger excavator for moving some of the big concrete material around. So there'll still be some cost there, but if we did it in-house, it could be minimal for getting that site somewhat, not developed, but in a better condition. So that's what I have for you.
May I? Madam Chair? I guess a question for Diane, do we actually have enough of a downtown TIF to actually earmark some put aside for the project? So
We've got 214,000 in that account.
yeah, so I mean, just so the council be aware that we actually have funds that actually could be earmarked for this, since it is due to the downtown and actually improvement of the downtown and the infrastructure. So, and the second point of this I want to make is it's actually not, this eventually has to get done, so it's not something that is either whether we do it or not. So the discussion we had a while back about the idea of putting a temporary fence up to actually keep this area kind of enclosed, this would eliminate that concern, so we could actually move forward to actually getting the VRAP with the idea of just finishing it off the way we want to. It won't actually change any of the planning that that Ben's doing as far as for the long-term use of it. It's just more, it's just a step that we have to get over, and it's easier to do it now than it is later on. It would be a great opportunity right now if our Public Works is in between the idea of summer operations and winter operations. If we actually have some downtime, I'm not sure if there's such a thing, but if we actually do have an opportunity to get in there and start working, as we all know, weather can change tomorrow, but there may be a good opportunity to actually get in there and get some of this done this year. And anything we can do to move forward the idea of getting that a VRAP and actually getting it so it's a more stable environment and actually a known environment, because there's still a couple questions, even with Ben trying to prepare for a plan for what's usable. It would be a lot more efficient to know what's there and what's not. So it's a great opportunity. I thank you very much, Dennis, for moving forward and checking into it, because this is, if we can actually do it with the town staff with the idea of just supervision, that to me is a win. I mean, it'd be a very expensive endeavor. Matter of fact, I bet we could spend most of our downtown TIF money just cleaning up the site if we didn't actually do it
Just the
in-house.
removal of the concrete, if you were to go see, I mean, the size of that, and, leaving it on site is a huge cost saver. So.
Absolutely. So again, I'm definitely on board with the idea of trying to actually move the site forward, and anything we can do to make it look like we're improving the town is always a benefit for.
Yeah, just the tree line, and I think the town has a chipper now. All that chipping stays right there as erosion control, but just cleaning that tree line up would open that river frontage up, and people would take notice.
Absolutely.
And DEP's working on the VRAP, and they're ready to send us a letter, but they're just waiting to find out what we're going to do about the cleanup and what our schedule's going to be, so that they can put that in the letter.
It would actually make the VRAP a little bit more conclusive too, I think.
Yep.
Instead of just fencing it off and waiting for later. So.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That was going to follow up with what Fern was actually just expressing. When we talked about this, we need to put up the fence anyways, and I know that I heard it clearly from Norman at the last meeting that looking into this opportunity, so I'm glad to see that we have. The second part of his ask was, this is not an allowable use of brownfield funds?
Not cleanup.
Okay, the question I would ask then is, why do we need a permission if they're not using brownfield funds. That's what I didn't understand in the write-up. Dennis explained it better in talking it out, because they're situationally involved in the same building. But why do I care if they're not allowing us to use the funds if we need brownfield's permission?
I would think that brownfields is just more of an overview, so the idea of their
The
concern
plan
is-
makes sense.
Exactly. It's not so much of a process, it's more of an overview and actually consensus that the site was
agree.
actually done to a certain spec. So
Okay.
I think they would need to be on board or whatever we did for cleanup if they were going to put their name on the VRAP as far as for signing off on it. I believe that's my interpretation of it. But
The last piece that I asked, do we have any idea on estimated time frame on this? That the price per day for somebody having to stand on site, be on board, I'd really love to be able to exploit Dennis, to be able to use his for that savings, but wanting to comply with what they're approving, which is why I was asking my original question.
Yeah, I don't. Do you, Dennis?
Not until, you have somebody from Public Works or something down there assessing the file and trying to get an estimate. I wouldn't want to tell you how long I think it's going to take them to do it, just because it's not my.
Yeah, and I don't
would-
want to put anybody on the hook, but $469 a day, that's a great rate for it, but at least you're committing somebody for that entire time. And the fact that asbestos abatement work is expensive as it is, and you're getting a fair price, but they just don't know what that
Right.
end date would be.
I would make the recommendation that actually Dennis, I know Dennis has already gone through some training on asbestos, but if we actually have him come in for the training for the town employees, which I think is beneficial regardless if we do it or not, I think it's good training as far as for them in general use. But if Dennis is able to sit through the training also, just to see if at the end of the day they would actually approve for or give their
And on call?
give their idea that actually is a good setting, and then I think Dennis actually has the capability, if they do run into a scenario where it looks like there's something that's actually questionable, to actually call them in and then use them at that point in time. I mean, but if we're actually just moving 3 days of rock and dirt, I don't really think we need to have someone on staff unless
For
we come up,
$1,200 for that time
unless we
period,
have
right?
unless we come up to something, and I think that's going to be one of those things, is just having someone on site that actually is knowledgeable enough. If we get into an area that looks more questionable than not, to call somebody in to make sure we're doing the right thing. That's all.
Yep, and actually, we can do exactly that, and that's part of that report that has to go to the state on the asbestos report. We'll actually write it that way in the report. So I would just get back to Mr. J. Bush and say, look, they want me to handle the awareness part down there, but we'll put it that I won't be on site all the time. I would be on call in case they run into something. They're going to have the training, and as long as they approve that, then we can go that direction and save the $500 a day. Ultimately pay me anyway, but
Another recommendation would be is if it actually does look better on the report that they actually did some periodically stop in and do a day's worth of visiting somewhere through the project to make sure we're actually doing it adequately. I mean, I don't feel that's a problem either. I just, as Alan mentioned, I don't think they need to be there every day if the project is actually going well, but if there anything we can do to keep the reporting correct and at least have them, if they want to do a spot visit to make sure that everything's going good, I think the idea of if we can actually approve a handful of days initially and then actually go by need at that point, right?
One of the things I was clearly hearing is the fact is if we're looking at this at seasonal transition work and Randy's using it in stop and go is not going to work for somebody like Atlantic. They're going to want to schedule for an X period.
right, that's why I didn't want to give it, because I just don't know the
Yeah,
capability
exactly.
there, or what size equipment. If they're doing something small, it's going to take longer. They're going to bring in
Yeah.
a big,
You're
so I really don't
gonna
have an
pay
answer on
'cause
how long. Yeah.
They're committing resources.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we could write up a report with me overseeing the asbestos piece of it. That would suffice, and having him on call as a consultant if I need it.
And another question with this, and I'm not sure if it goes beyond the scope of what we ought to be talking about now, but I don't think without a question, Randy is actually going to have to bring in an excavator. He's going to have to lease one for an X amount of time to make this work. Does he have the scope within his budget and your approval to actually bring in a piece of equipment for that without coming back to council? Or, I guess, if one of those things, if we actually vote as a council that we want to move this forward, is there other means that would need to come back to us for approval, or he would actually be?
What he would do is rent it from where, because he does that from time to time
Correct,
now,
yeah.
and he's got a budgetary line item, although we wouldn't want to eat up his budgetary line item on this, but no, I think if you say, give us the go-ahead tonight as part of your motion to rent whatever we need for equipment, we wouldn't need to come back.
Unless of some reason.
Unless for some reason we've run into a snag and we think it's going to cost us a lot of money to
Yep.
dispose, obviously, we'd stop and come back to council at that time.
And I don't think there's any reason, say if we get 3 weeks in this and we have a 2-foot snowstorm, that we can't actually bail out and basically just continue on in spring. So, I mean,
I think he rents it by the week when he rents the equipment.
yeah. So I just want to make sure that if we vote on it tonight, that there'd be something, if the weather is good, that we could actually move on it fairly quickly, that's
Yeah.
all.
I would think,
That would be
put
my
that as part of
expect.
your motion for us to proceed.
Okay?
Proceeding just for the motion that's actually there for discussion in the second, as long as it's salvageable with the fact that the plan that Dennis submits actually affords us the ability for oversight to be able to save on that
Exactly.
cost
Yes.
and gives us the flexibility for a rental with Randy, I'm good with
Yes.
content.
Yep.
Those two pieces in the motion were fine.
Okay. So we all said as
Yes.
presented?
Anybody else? Okay, all in favor?
I think it's a great opportunity, so
4-0 passed.
And you want this to come from the TIF funds, right?
assuming that would be a great opportunity, that way there it's not coming out of taxpayers.
It's supposed to be infrastructure. That's what
Yep.
we earmarked it for.
Do you want to, could you do another motion to that, just so we have it in the record, because it is actually TIF funds, I don't want to have that.
I
All
would
right,
make
Mark,
a
you're up.
motion, I would make a motion that we actually use the downtown TIF money to actually use to the excavation and removal and the preparation of the site on a Rumble site.
I'll second that.
Good job, Mark.
Shouldn't that be an amendment to the original
No,
motion?
the two motions.
Okay.
They're separate.
Two
Yeah.
motions.
All in favor?
It's cleaner.
4-0 passed.
Next item.
Under other business, council committee reports.
School, Councilor Albert is not here to present. Planning Board.
Planning Board, Curtis Lund was voted the incoming chair, vice chair Bill Cool. They discussed additional dwelling units and accepted a resignation. He can't be in two places at once, and he'll be joining us in December. So Mr. Fellows stepped down. Did I cover everything? Thank you, sir.
LDC.
We actually did not actually have a meeting this month. We will most likely be having one in December. We're just kind of pending the idea of Ben coming forward with some information on the Rumble site, and now that maybe we can see some stuff happening at the Graziano, there'll be more to discuss as time goes on, but still it's going to be an active bunch moving forward, so if anybody has any questions about LDC, please reach out to me. And we actually have a new person hopefully on staff that will be joining us and actually be able to add all kinds of insight and opportunity. So I think it's good things moving forward.
Conservation Committee.
Conservation, Richard Main was elected chair again. Alan Siemens will be the vice chair, and they met last night, and it's actually, they're working on goals for the coming year.
Recreation, I have to touch base with Mark. County budget.
County budget was passed, heard by the commissioners, 5.27% increase over prior year.
Library.
Nothing new to report.
Okay.
Oh yeah, new fence. Sorry, I forgot all about that. Yes, yeah, we got a new fence down there at the library, which is a big improvement over the old one that was in pretty bad shape. The new one is really nice and very well appreciated by everyone who uses that facility.
Town Manager's report.
Yeah, I was going to mention the fence, and Diane said she's gotten a lot of comments on it. I don't know if you've been by to see it, but you ought to. It looks really nice, and in the spring, they'll put the gates on the going in the walkways. So that's the only thing that you don't see now, but those will come off every winter. The Booker Street tree removal, we're ramping up to get that done, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Once we get that done, and now that the library fence is done, then I can close out the 2016 CDBG grant, and we'll be able to apply for funds again. And the bus shelters for up here on Lisbon Street by the Farwell Mill, they came in today, so Randy's going to get those assembled on site right off. And they're very sturdy. And they're going to look really nice. That's all I have.
Department heads, written reports. Everybody's reviewed them.
Yeah, I get some feedback if I could. Under the finance directors, if we could get a 6-month financial update of where we're at, be halfway through the year, update on audit outlook, and anything looking for FY 20's actual expenses as we enter the budget season at the next meeting, that would be appreciated. Under fire, reading their presentation, I'd like to see if we could get an update. We talked at a previous meeting for business inspections, and they were going to phase in over a 3-year period. I'd like to see where they're at on that now that we're 6 or 8 months into this at that point, to see what we can do on that. And town planner, his report actually had an update looking towards goals now that the comp plan is done, now that they've tackled a lot of the things with the planning board's goals. If we don't have a specific priority that actually comes up for the best use of his time, I would ask that the economic development director actually, if there's something that could be in that, to be able to best use his time as well too. The flavor associated with Ben's report is that he's working actively on the Rumbumba site and the LDC, but if he's looking for fodder associated with that, I think it's an opportunity to be able to saddle him with our economic director to give assistance there. That's all I had.
Next slide. Police Department update.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. There's a memo coming around that I had given to the town manager a couple weeks back about some reorganization that we are doing at the police department. Be right up front, it doesn't affect the town from a budgetary standpoint at all. In fact, if anything, it's saving some money. I'll move forward and explain a little bit about it. So with the retirement of Patrol Sergeant Moore and Detective Sergeant Tapley earlier in the year, we're going to take this opportunity to reorganize and return the PD back to the format that it was prior to my arrival, which from a supervisor's standpoint means you got the chief, then a lieutenant, and then 2 patrol sergeants. As you're aware, it had been when I came here, it was a chief and then 3 sergeants. And there's a number of reasons why this actually benefits us to go back to this format. It's explained briefly in the memorandum, but I'll cover it real quick with you. We get greater supervisory coverage. The lieutenant's going to be working 5 8-hour shifts, which includes a weekend shift. We'll have greater patrol coverage. As Lieutenant Michelle was prior to my arrival, this will be a working position, so it'll be working patrol as well as conducting some administrative duties. We'll have a greater communication. The position is going to start later in the day and work into the evening, so it'll be a combination of day shift into evening. So we'll have greater communication between day shift administrative levels and supervision as well as into the evening. It also frees the patrol sergeants to do what they should be doing, which is supervising our officers. And over the last few years, they've been doing a lot of what were previously administrative duties that Lieutenant Michelle had done. And it has come up numerous times that, to be honest with you, they didn't want to do those administrative duties because it was keeping them from supervising the patrol officers. And I've said this before, we've hired some really good officers in the last few years, but they're young. We have 4 people with less than a year and a half of experience. Generally speaking, it takes a good 5 years for a patrol officer to get the kind of experience they need to be able to just, as they go to calls, be handling it. I've dealt with this before. So we're a long ways away from that, and our patrol officers need some supervision, some direct supervision. So this brings us back to that where we'll have some direct supervision. There'll be less liability on the town, to be honest with you, because of the supervision. It also meets a council goal of succession planning. This puts a lieutenant position back in where they can take a role and start taking some being involved in some administrative duties. So it prepares them for a chief's position, this chief's position in the future. Other than that, like I said, it does save some money, saves roughly off the top $2,700. There'll be some savings in overtime, but I don't want to speculate and throw out a number to you as far as what overtime we'll be saving, just because we have the greater coverage. And, in general, it'll be an hourly, non-union position. That pretty much covers everything other than some questions that you folks might have for me. I can tell you, by the way, while we're talking about it, with those sergeants' retirements, we're currently in a sergeant's process. We have some candidates that are studying. There's going to be a test at the beginning of December. After the test, there'll be an oral board, and we're hoping to hit the ground running January 1 and have the new sergeants up and running. Could I answer some questions if anybody has them?
And again, this may be something you can answer or not. I mean, are these positions you're looking to hire within? I mean, are these?
Yes, sir. We have candidates for all the positions internally. There's no need to be going outside, to be honest with you. Our people are qualified to move up.
I mean, that was one of the questions I had. I'm sure we have good people. Just want to make sure that it's a good opportunity for the whole department. That's all.
It's a great opportunity. I mean, there's movement, and no matter what the job is, right? When there's some movement, people see some opportunities. This should make a lot of opportunities for movement, and it gets people excited again. So.
Yeah. With that being said, are you still going to have some more places to fill at the other end as this goes forward?
Yeah. When it's all said and done, we'll have one other patrol officer position to fill. We've been doing very well, knock on wood, with our hiring lately. If you aren't aware, it's in the monthly report, but we just hired an officer from Portland PD, brings a lot of good experience. We almost had a second officer from Portland PD, but another nearby agency swept in at the last minute with more money than we have, but such is life. So we have been getting some good, certified police officers with experience. So we're looking forward to getting another here, hopefully soon.
Good deal. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah. You cool with this? This works for you? Anything on the topic of this reorganization that you would tweak, or this is your best recommendation, Mark?
No, this is what I have wanted to go back to for a while.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, now is the opportunity. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a reason that every organization in the state of Maine, mostly across the country, has a chief, and then they have a second in command, whether you call it a lieutenant, deputy chief, or whatever. It just works better, and it feeds somebody into a succession program, gives them some training, prepares them so the next agency doesn't have to go outside. And you have somebody moving up the ranks, and you got people that see some movement, see some long-term goals for themselves. And I think this is a great opportunity for us.
If I may, and again, this is a change you had done a while back. Was the idea of having the comp center have its own supervision in a sense, right? Standalone, not so much actually having any of your sergeants overseeing that. How's that plan worked out? Pretty well, or?
So far, so good. We haven't had any issues. The supervisor's working in there with the other communications officers. So, it's better to have direct supervision, as far as I'm concerned, than just somebody checking in on them every once in a while. And the person knows the position. I'm not saying that previous supervisor didn't know the position, but you know position better when you're working it than just kind of looking in and seeing what they're doing.
Well, that change actually allowed this change to happen now, in a sense, right? I mean,
yeah, no, we were ready to hit the ground running when all these retirements happen. It's we're sorry to see everybody go, but it's also a great opportunity for the PD.
Good, thank you.
No, I appreciate Chief actually taking opportunity when it's there and actually looking at what we can do within the organization. So this makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excited to see who actually moves up and moves around. This is going to be pretty exciting times.
Diane, is this informational, or does he need anything for us for support?
No, it's
Informational.
just informational.
Informational, what he's intending to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next item.
Planning Board report.
Planning Board?
No, somebody asked me to put that on there. No? So do you want to go to Water Department report? Did you want to report, Bill, or you?
Again, but I can do it, next month.
You want to, that's what I had on the, I don't know why I put
my
planning.
schedule changed, so I just.
Okay. So we'll move on to Lisbon.
You're here, Bill. If we don't want to shut you down either, dude. All right.
Okay.
John Court, Second Captain, Lisbon Emergency, and Chief McDonald. On behalf of Lisbon Emergency members, officers, and board of directors, we would like to take the opportunity to thank the towns of Lisbon and Bowdoin for your financial support. Kayla, new news since this fiscal year, which starts in July 1st. Our fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th. Kayla Tierney, the Town of Lisbon Finance Director, was appointed to our board of directors to replace the previous Finance Director, Lydia Colston. Kayla was elected Treasurer of the board, which automatically places her on our Budget Committee. The Budget Committee is Kayla, George Roy, he was also a Board of Director, Chief McDonald, and myself. We have been working on policy and procedures to safeguard our nonprofit assets. Lisbon Emergency, again, is on a fiscal year, not a calendar year. We implemented our debt reduction plan in July by taking the $50,000 in liquid assets and paying off Ambulance 401 and applying the remainder on Ambulance 44's loan according to our business plan that we presented previously to the board. The business plan allows us to be debt-free as of 2024, and so that we may begin ambulance replacement at that time. We have been able to meet our goal of keeping the total of 3 months' expenses available in liquid assets with this plan when you include our credit line. Our credit line has never been used since its inception, but it's there as a security blanket. With our increase in payroll, again, according to our business plan that we previously presented, we have increased the paramedic level pay, and we have been able to hire 2 additional paramedics, and we have increased our amount of paramedic coverage on our schedule. Our first quarter profit and loss was showing a net income of $26,262. Without the town of Lisbon and Bowdoin's contribution, we would show a net loss of $21,528.90. Any questions?
That's good. I mean, numbers are actually on the right side of the line, right?
Yes.
A year and a half into this, since the first ask and presentation that you guys made, is there anything else we should be aware of that unforeseen based on what you've presented?
No, everything is going according to our business plan.
Right.
The integration with the appointed board of directors has worked out very well, as it's strengthened our board. There is nothing we can foresee for next year that there's going to be no surprises.
Okay.
We're going to ask exactly what was in our 3-year contract, and we're going to be able to build upon that for the future.
Has this presentation gone to Bowdoin as well?
Yes, I have met with this one.
And what was the feedback from Bowdoin? Because I know when we talked about it, we can't afford to lose any more dance partners in that regard, and we used you guys as that example to joint support.
They are very happy with us, and the reports you receive every month,
They get to.
also get them also.
Yeah, so just a question. It seems so there's the same concerns that you were having when you actually did your reconstruction that you did. This seems to be working pretty well. That other communities around us, I'm sure, are having the same problems. I see your ambulance out and about, and do you feel that that sometimes we actually have to expand beyond our areas just to take care of coverage that other people are having concerns with? Or do you think the people in the other areas around us are pretty much stable? I mean, looking forward, do you see any communities around us that actually are going to be in the same problems that Lisbon was facing a year or so ago? Or
As far as the financial problems?
Financials and just the ability to actually keep their
services
intact,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's rampant across. It's Maine. It's across the country. It's EMS problem. The model of the volunteer EMS agency is gone. It is very hard to recruit. Everybody doesn't have time. The requirements put on a EMS provider are increasing. Right now, I'm an advanced EMT. I have to do 56 hours of continuing education every 3 years. That is not paid. I have to go out and do it on my own. A lot of times, in order to get those courses, you have to pay on your own. They are now talking about going down to 2 years instead of 3 years. So, I mean, the requirements are increasing upon the EMS provider, and there's been, 2 or 3 ambulance services in the past year that have closed in Maine. It's not a problem. It's a problem that's getting worse, not better.
Yeah, and that was kind of my question, was the idea, do you actually see some of that now being called outside your area to actually take over where other people are actually falling short, or not so much at this point? So
Not at this point.
yeah.
Another problem facing EMS is Maine EMS just put out the average age of a provider is 47 years old. And as you get older, your back gets more damage, especially in this job.
I'm just glad that we're kind of positioned the way we are right now, so we actually have a known next few years versus the idea. Just the only reason I brought that up is I'm sure other communities that weren't planning as well as you were that actually going to run into that same bind that is going to have to make that decision that we did a year or so ago, whether you keep it moving or try to figure out another better opportunity, which I'm not sure if there's many opportunities out there anymore, you know. So, yeah, I think
we caught it in time.
That's good. That's good.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate you coming in.
Next item.
Appointments, Order 2019-216, Appeals Board Resignation, Lisa Ward.
I think we're going to include the planning board resignation of Don Fellows as well.
Was there one or two resignations that you actually had listed, Don? It was just that one board, assessment review board, and
Right.
both those need to be active. So I would actually add to Lisa's the idea of the planning board and the assessment review board of Don Fellows' resignation to be brought forward to the council.
Okay.
And I would make that recommendation.
So you make the motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Sure.
All in favor?
Sorry, kick me. It's quiet over here.
4-0, order passed.
So Don, you
Next
actually
item.
lose 2 jobs and you gain 1. I'm not sure if that's fair or not.
I reached out to Lisa to see if she might be interested in serving on the assessment review board, and I think she is. So I told her we'd need an application, and that'll probably come back to the next meeting, December 17th.
And if I may, can we ask, just so the public knows, is there an opening now at the planning board that needs to be filled, or what, just one? Just one, and that'd be associate member, or?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually, okay. Just so everybody knows, there is an opening now that what Don's done tonight, so hopefully we actually have some people stepping forward.
Oh, Miriam.
2 openings on the assessment review board. No, 1 opening on the assessment review board and 2 openings on the Board of Appeals.
Yes, for anybody who was keeping score, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on both committees.
No, that was genuine. I appreciate it, absolutely.
Don't recruit from her.
He's done this for the last 10 years. He gets his people for the planning board by stealing them from my committee.
Poaching, yes.
Good step-up position then. All right.
Next item.
Order 2019-217, Mark Hagan as interim town manager from November 21st to December 6th.
I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Sure. I was waiting for Mark. I didn't want to steal his
Yeah.
thunder.
That, I just, a couple questions if we could. I mean, I know that's actually been done in the past, but that's, Mark's all set with that.
Wait,
Just wanna make sure.
that was not part of my motion. I said yes.
He's chomping at the bit.
There's nothing else needs to be done with that. It's basically just
No,
a,
as long as you do that, that covers anything that should come up where he has to sign as the chief operating official or whatever.
so you have a lieutenant in place at that point, so you can just kind of come over and hang out in the
Yeah.
office. And
All in
Sorry.
favor?
Order passed, 4-0.
Next item.
Council communications?
We have one. The fact is, we've actually, Cassie and I, and Fern actually, with PCL, have actively been working with the Legion and Positive Change Lisbon on rolling out the banners and flags promotion that we talked about during the budget sessions. Waiting for final decision from the Legion. The way that we envision this would have the Legion take the lead on this. They would collect the funds associated with that, working with a list that PCL thinks that they can get us for where we can place them creatively to be able to put the veterans banners that we talked about at that time frame to be a fundraiser for the Legion. What we would provide from the town, promotion. I have no problem. The other counselors both have also expressed help promoting and getting the word out there. But when it comes down to it, working with our contact at hopefully East Coast Signs, who put up the previous banners for the town, and Positive Change Lisbon, working to be able to place the order on behalf of the Legion. So more will be coming on that. Like I said, we have hit both organizations up, and I'll be reaching out to a few others because I think we can do more in our corridors to improve what we actually have for visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I think that's, I'm glad that you two brought that forward because I think it's going to be a great opportunity. And the banners, if we can put them big and tall and proud, I think they're actually going to make a mark. And we actually have some other opportunities. And as Brett gets rolling, there'll be more stuff you can pull into because I would like to see the LDC I believe when we did the new street lights down by Rusty Lantern, we actually got them big enough that we can actually get decent-sized hangers off there and get some hangers down there. So that doesn't sound that we have it all pretty. We can actually add to it, and this would be a good opportunity to bring that forward. So again, thank you. I think that's going to be a great project. So just add on to what Alan did this year with the flags and just kind of make it to that next step. And the only concern we actually had through the Positive Change meeting was the idea of I think we're actually going to have to limit the first year because I think we're going to run out of opportunities or options before we actually run out of people that are interested in sponsoring a flag for a veteran. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge.
It'll be a challenge. And it's a good challenge to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good challenge to have because anything that improves is definitely. Thank you.
Anybody else? No.
Good for now.
Next item.
Audience participation for new items.
Is there anybody that would like to come up to speak?
First of all, I've got to apologize to Alan. He took the wrath of me. My problem is I've been talking to a lot of people, and we're in the same predicament. On Social Security, our taxes, I had just come home from the hospital. My husband had a super bad surgery. I come home because I hadn't opened the mail. I opened it up, and all of a sudden, our taxes are $950 house payment from $800. You know, and we'd never been behind at the credit union in 47 years. You can't keep budgeting. Social Security does not go up. And if it does, it goes to Medicare or Medicaid or, you know, and my husband's worked hard all his life. We both have. And, you know, you budget, you sit down every month and you budget this and you budget that, and you can't budget anymore. And I'm not the only one that feels like this. And it's like people that are making like $1,800, $1,900 a month payments, and on top of that, they got $6,000, $7,000. It's not a good incentive to move into Lisbon Falls, I'll tell you that. I mean, we've been here for 47 years. And like Warren Goddard, the old man that I helped take care of, you know, he's pretty bad off. And he makes less than $10,000 a year. And he has to come up here and pay, I do for him, $125, $150 every month in order for him to be able to get his taxes paid. That don't leave him very much either. You know, there's got to be something to help the people that, you know, because you're all going to be there someday. It's not fun to live on, I'll tell you. We live on a month. My husband used to bring home a week. Go from there. There's got to be something set aside. We've paid plenty of school taxes. We've paid plenty of library taxes. I'm not trying to get out of taxes. I'm just saying you can't keep. I don't see anything happening. I think someone said we're going to get $2 again this year, maybe, if we're lucky. What are you going to do?
Definitely there's.
I mean, I'm 70 years old today. My husband's 75. So who's going to hire you? Yes, I take care of horses and I work hard, but they're going to look at your age and they're going to look at what you're capable of doing. So it's kind of hard. And poor Alan got the wrath of me. I was ripping.
Alan's good for that, though.
Well, I was
It
ripping
was a Friday night.
because
It was all good.
Yeah,
And I told you then, you do you. That's what we're
I-
actually here
Yeah.
for.
it's just, and I heard it from another old lady in Walgreens. She said she's going to have to put her house up for sale and go into assistant living. That's not fair.
not for anybody.
You
actually.
guys should be, you guys are going to be in that position someday. Have a little bit of compassion for the elderly people, like me. I don't want to say I'm elderly, but I'm saying you can't take this much and try to make this. It doesn't work. You still have to eat. You still have to pay fuel. You still have to pay insurance. There's not enough to go around.
Absolutely. One of the things that, and again, there's no excuses for that any of us can make as far as for tax-wise and stuff. But this year, I got to say the council did do a really good job, and Diane, as far as on the municipal side, that actually, at the end of the year, our budget was, what was the increase to the tax base on our budget this year? Was actually
It was flat, $10,000. It wouldn't
so
it
we
wouldn't
actually
affected the mill rate at all.
So we actually kept the budget pretty flat this year. What I really hope that you would also do is actually your state representatives, because what you've seen over the last, it's been what 6 or 8 years now, is the state actually putting more down on our local community. The stuff they used to pay for, now they're actually pushing down locally, and it's actually driving up our property taxes.
Right.
So they're actually, on one hand, showing that they're doing something good, but yet it actually, you either pay here or pay up there, right? So, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. The school, forever, and I'm not...
The local share.
Yeah, the local share for the
Drive it
school has
home.
actually changed drastically, and part of that is it used to be when teachers actually paid into for their retirement, a lot of that was matched by the state. The state's actually turned that back to the town now mostly, so basically all that match actually has to be paid through your taxes. So, I mean, it's little things like that the state is shifting from their budget down to ours, that we can keep our budget flat, but at the end of the day, our taxes go up because of things that we have no control over.
Well,
So
it's tough.
want you and everybody else to know that even this year, we actually did work really hard, and our budget from the municipal side basically didn't actually lead to any tax increases. The biggest thing was the shift as far as the evaluation that we didn't have any control of as a council. And I know the school really did their best to actually try to mitigate what their extra tax burden was too, because again, it's really not fair. You know what I mean, of what the state,
Well, they got to take care of all these people coming in from these other countries. We all know that.
That, and you know, I know, and again, myself personally, same as you, we pay plenty of taxes in town, and when you get to the point of where you struggle to do what we do locally, and then you hear the state talk about a slush or rainy day fund, and I'm thinking, so why is there actually getting to be millions and millions of dollars in the rainy day fund in the state if the town is actually stringing out every dollar to actually pay for stuff and expenses keep coming down? And that's only my opinion, and everybody's
No. I go to meetings
yeah.
at the animal welfare. I've been going there for years. And when you see the head director making $90-something thousand a year, and when he came in, he was a skinny little guy. Now he's this big blimp.
He's doing
What do you
okay,
think
yeah.
he's doing? He's doing fine.
Yeah.
He's doing fine.
So my point to bring that forward, I just, and we appreciate people coming in and actually express concerns,
Well, I was
because
hoping more people would show up, but everybody's afraid to make waves.
And you're not making waves, you're actually just stating a fact.
It's scary. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
We can't plan on, I'm still trying to get my bathroom finished. Can't do it. You got this expense and that expense, and of course, everybody knows I run a nonprofit horse rescue, and just to keep horses on the property, because people come in and they might get hurt, you wouldn't believe the insurance we have to pay. It's crazy.
Just I asked if, again, your state, we have representatives from our local area, and I would definitely reach out to them and express their concerns too, because it's done at both levels, and I think everybody's trying to do the best they can, but sometimes we're on the bottom of the pile and everything kind of gets pushed down to us, and then it comes on to the taxpayers. So
It's tough.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
absolutely.
sorry. I'm
Nope.
sorry. I was just, because we've never been late over there, and then I get hit with a interest thing on top of everything else, and it's like, are you kidding me? I just got my husband at home from the hospital. It was like,
no one needs any more bills, that's for sure.
no,
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
I'm all set. Thank you.
We're good.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Next item.
Order 2019-218 to go into executive session per 1 MRSA Section 4056H, consultation with code enforcement officer on pending matter in district court.
Will we be coming back to vote on anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll stay here and the public can leave.
Yes.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
4-0, order passed.
Thank you all. Can you get these back to Diane?